All right, we're joined now by Doug Coons. He is a former FBI special agent and founder of Veracity, which is an investigative firm. Thanks for being with us. First, we'd just like to know what you would be looking into right now, given what we know so far about the attacker, his time in the military, and his statements on social media.
I think right now, in light of what is already known, I would be focusing on his communications. Who was he talking to in the hours and days prior to the incident? What were they talking about? Getting into phones is sometimes difficult, but it can be a wealth of information. Looking at the internet and what kind of websites was he visiting, social media, also looking for things in common with the Las Vegas explosion and seeing if those two individuals were communicating with anyone in common. So those are the things that I would be looking for right now.
You know, it's one of those things that at the surface, it looks like he was potentially acting alone. He had all these problems, as you're talking about, in his personal life and those types of things. But why is the FBI thinking that he wasn't acting alone?
Hard to say, but even if he was acting alone in the act itself, it's probable that he had some sort of support network, maybe financially or inspirationally or some other means that inspired him to do this or helped him with the improvised explosive devices. They'll be looking at those. Typically, they have a signature to them. The way that they're built, the components that they use are often common amongst certain groups. So if this is the way we've seen ISIS make IEDs before, and he's got a similar setup, that's another clue that this was actually sponsored, encouraged by someone from the actual ISIS organization versus him just being a supporter, sympathizer.
Well, we also know he served in Iraq and Afghanistan, right? Is it possible that he learned about it there, or that he had dealings maybe with ISIS members while serving in Iraq?
It's possible. I'm sure the Bureau will be working with the military to find out, exactly what his role was, where he was, and when. Did he interact with any ISIS prisoners that were taken? It's possible that somebody got his ear and started making him think in a different way than he was used to, because this seems out of character for him for the first half of his life. When exactly did he change his beliefs? And maybe his family or close friends kind of know when these changes made. I have to believe that somebody saw something and knew something was amiss leading up to this. That might not be true, but he seemed to have a lot of personal problems, according to what I have seen, with, like you said, the finances, marriage problems, those kind of things. So I feel like somebody probably knew that there was a shift in his personality, and we'll find that out in the next few days or weeks.
Can you remind people how ISIS formed and how it's evolved?
It's been a while since I've thought about these things. I think pursuant to the Gulf Wars, it developed as a consequence of that, and grew a following that kind of snowballed, and haven't heard a lot about it over the past few years, but seems to have been making a resurgence. Typically violent extremist ideology, and I think another one of the fears is that with the vacuum now in Syria, with the regime being taken out, that ISIS might step in to try to fill that gap. So hopefully this is not a sign of other things to come.
All right, Doug Coons, thank you so much for joining us, and we do hope to learn more in the coming hour or so with this press conference. Thank you.
Thank you.